Well, good evening. You're most welcome this evening from here. Maybe it's day where you are or afternoon where you are, it doesn't matter. I greet you and I celebrate you. This is the Value Propellers Network. I want to say Happy New Year to you and to everyone that is our partner who has taken time to listen to one or more of our broadcasts. Want to celebrate you, want to give you our high five. If you are there, you receive it on behalf of anyone around you. Value Propellers Network celebrates all our partners, our well-wishers, all our people who love us and who have been endeared to what God is doing by our hands. We thank the Lord for His loving kindnesses, His mercies. We are kept by His mercy. We are bringing these broadcasts at this time to say Happy New Year to everybody. I want to say thank you for the partnership. Thank you for solidarity. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And I believe subscribing to the channel is not just for solidarity's sake, it is for blessing's sake, particularly, such that we will be able to impact you with that truth that the Lord has bequeathed to us, that the Lord has given to us, so that you'll be helped with it, you'll be encouraged with it, you'll be enhanced by it, you'll be blessed by it, you will be developed with a new horizon of performance and to open you to a new well of opportunities and to open you to new avenues of possibilities. We trust that this is affording you such opportunity, giving you such allowances. We trust God for much this year. We delayed till this time in order to begin to know what we are going to do this year, but we are getting our focus in points. We are getting burden for the year as we feel God is putting it in our mind, in our hearts to run with for this year. While we will do much, but we believe we are having the burden for education sector. Want to really launch into the education sector and begin to propagate the truth about value in the education sector, because we believe is a new frontier of knowledge. But we believe it's also going to be very beneficial to everybody, starting with students, with teachers, with staffs of various educational sectors that we will be opportune to come in contact with. So we trust that this year is the year basically for the education sector. But that will not stop us from doing this, the one we do online, on this platform and in various platforms where we are present. We also do some other things, other ancillary, but that's our major trust for this year. We want to say that categorically. So we welcome partnership, we welcome support in that regard. You can, if you have a heart for the education sector, you can put in the chat how you will want to go into that with us, want to go headlong, because we know everything about life is value. We have come, and I think we have said it, we have taught it once and again, that there is nothing on this earth that has no value. In as much as the thing is still present on this earth, it has value. We have even had people, maybe somebody will say a dead man doesn't have value again. We have had people who have willed their dead body and say that when I die, when I pass, use part of my body to do this, and do this, so that I want to continue being valuable. We have had that. So I'm driving at the point that there is nothing on this earth, in as much as is within this earth, as without value. And so it means value can be enhanced, can be improved upon, can be demobilized, can be abused. Maybe I'm just telling us some various characteristics of value as a subject. But we are just sharing this in order to bring perspective to the fact that in as much as everything about life is termed value, and we are still putting these thoughts out bit by bit, I trust God to be able to go further this year, much more than we have ever been, and we'll be able to pin this truth down and be able to put the piece together and make a whole lot of sense and understanding out of them. We are not out to confuse people. We want to be able to bring certain convictions that will help and galvanize us to know what is the mind of the Creator. And why is it that we're always attracted to value? Why is it that our like term is always attractive to the like term of value? Because in mathematics, it is said that like terms attract. So if man is always endeared to value, so what is the ground for it? Why is it that value resonates with our spirit? Value turns man on. It must be that there is an unseen link between man and value. And that's what we're trying to decode to everybody that cares to hear, that value, there is something, it may look as if it's unseen, but that is what we have come to decode and bring understanding to. That's what Value Propeller is doing. So this year, we trust that we'll be able to go far. But this evening, or this time, in order to prep us for a new year, I want to quickly look at what will make our new year blissful. We want to look at a critical matter that will make our year worth living. I want to look at a very critical matter as we are starting off the new year. We believe it's important, as the Lord put it in our hearts, that we should look at this critical subject, because we are just starting a new frame of time, a new year that we have never spent, we have never entered into, we have never actually experienced before. And so we want to bring understanding by the help of God to how do we make the year count for us. How do we make the year useful for us? How do we make the year worthwhile for us? How do we make the year yield to us? How do we make the year release its value to us? And how do we make the year very valuable to us? Making your time count in the new year. That's the topic for today. Making your time count in the new year. That's the topic that we are considering today. And I believe it's going to be a blessing to everybody. Therefore, as you go through this, please share it. Be a blessing to somebody. Just share it out to anybody. Let them be blessed that we are talking about value. And we have always been saying that we discovered the head to be a value-based habitat. This is very rare in any educational sector to be put up. Even though we meet things of value, we discover men to be valuable, we discover that time is valuable, we even say time is life, we discover that things that are around us are very valuable. But we have not been able to address our mind to the fact that the earth itself is a value-based habitat. And that's what we are projecting to us and sounding as an alarm to everybody, that the earth is a value-based habitat. And I believe this truth is very important for everybody to take note so that we don't destroy the earth any longer. We don't do things that make the earth wear out. That is our house, at least for now. That's where we are made to live in. That is our habitat. We can't live elsewhere. Living the earth is exiting our realm of existence as a man. Once you leave the realm called the earth, you cease to be a man. You become a spirit. You become a foreign being. That is why somebody that wants to go to another planet, that's why they will not look like man. For example, if somebody is going to Mars, you won't look like the man that can wear clothes and chew and be fine and be okay. You will have to labor to put many things together in order to be accommodated in that strange place, because it's not your territory particularly. You are not made for that place. You are trying to adapt to the environment. So I'm saying this in order to bring us to an awareness that the earth is a value-based habitat. And so we have a responsibility to make that earth worth living. So every one of us, it is a burden that every one of us must bear, that the earth is a value-based habitat. Number two, this value-based habitat is comprised of three things: man, time, and things. Some really. And then number three, there's an order by which these value-based habitats, comprising these three things, there's an order in which they're expected to be run. They're expected to be engaged. They're expected to be used in order that they would afford peace, prosperity, progress, and peace for all the dwellers and engagers of the habitat. And the other is that man must be loved. Time must be honored. Things must be managed and used. But like Solomon would say, that I found another evil under the sun. We also discover that there is a reason why there is challenge, there is chaos, there is crisis in this value-based habitat called the earth. And the reason is because men seek to invert that order set by the Creator, which is that men seek to love things. We love things. That's the truth. It's obvious. We love things. We love things at the detriment of man. We still love time. We honor time, albeit selfishly. We selfishly love time, honor time. Why we manage and use men. You see, this inversion is the reason for the chaos on earth. And so we need to address our minds to how do we resolve the crisis? And that's why you and I need to take responsibility to know the truth about this value-based habitat, the issues around the constituents of this value-based habitat, and be able to see the pros and cons around the issue of following the order of the Creator. And that's why we are coming to you. And so out of the 3 constituents of the earth, we want to take one. And since it is suitable and very good for us to just engage this at this time, we are considering time, one of the value constituents of the value-based habitat. We are considering it. And this is the first teaching or training we'll be doing about time. This is the first time we are considering the subject of time. And I believe it will be worth hearing, it will be worth listening to, it will be worth hearing and learning. I believe, I don't know, but I believe you'll be enriched by this. And you will, we have, at least we are concluding the first month of the year, but making the rest of the year better than what you have done all around. I believe we have written our goals for the year. How do we attain them? How do we get strategies to accomplish them? We want to add some things to you out of things that we have learned and which have helped us to be prepped for things that we are doing now and to make sense, a little sense out of living as we have been helped. We have been helped. These truths we're about to share, I've lived them. And I'm living them. And that is why I can talk about them. They have been blessings to me, and I believe they will be blessings to you. We'll be considering 10 points on how to make your time count this year, how to make your time fruitful this year. 10 points on making this year fruitful, valuable, worthwhile, and profitable. That's why we are here. But for the sake of a start, let's define time. Let's define time. I've heard in the time past that we can't define many things, but I disagreed. Why? Because if we met ourselves here and to a reasonable extent, at least by my own understanding of English language and what I have read in the scripture, if I know what is called definition very well, I believe that if God, as a Christian, if God can be defined, then there's hardly anything that cannot be defined. If God can be defined reasonably, then there is hardly nothing that cannot be defined, because I know in my Bible it is said, God is love. So God is defined. The Bible says God is light. God is defined. Another portion of the Bible says God is a spirit. Then God is defined. So if God can thus be defined, then there's hardly anything that cannot be defined. Now, if this is so, then what is the definition of time? By understanding, we began to discover that time, the first definition we have for time, according to Value Project, is that time is a system of technicality in the spirit. It's a system of technicality in the spirit set for man to program himself for failure or for success based on the value he has set to pursue in life. Time is a system of technicality in the spirit. You know, we said it that everything is made by God. We believe in the principle of creation. We believe that God made everything. And that is, for an average African, this is a fact. Average. Larger part of Africans believe in the principle of creation. But much more in Christianity, we believe that all things were made by him, and without him was nothing made that was made. So, time is a system of technicality in the spirit. God made time. And everything that God made, he made them first by his spirit. And if he made them by his spirit, then they first of all originated in the spirit. Originated in the spirit. And that is why you can trace everything from its natural realm back into the spirit realm. Back into the spirit realm. So time is a technicality in the spirit set or made for man to program himself. So as you engage in time, you are programming yourself. As I don't want to enter because we don't have all the time. We are not actually doing a core training about time. I just want to do some things around the definition, then mention the 10 points, and then we'll be good. Is a technicality in the spirit set for man to program himself. You are programming yourself. Whatever you are doing now is you are writing a code. You know, in computers, they talk about program. And before you bring up a program, many things will be put together. You will write in languages. Those things that you are writing in languages, you are putting things together that will form a program that will run and bring forth a result. So time is a technicality in the spirit made for man to program himself. So what you are doing now, you are writing a program. What I'm doing now, I'm writing a program. Even now, if you are drinking water, now, you are writing a program. You are writing a program to still stay alive by your drinking water now. You are writing a program to stay alive because peradventure you are eating as you are listening to it now. If necessity calls for you to drink water as you are eating now, you are going to drink that water, and you are drinking that water now in order to program yourself to live longer. Because if you don't drink that water now, you might be choked up. And many people have died because of that. So whatever you are doing now, you are programming yourself. Either for failure or for success. Either for good or for evil. That speech you are making now, you are programming yourself. That thing, that film you are watching now, you are programming yourself. That's why I want you to listen to this with rapt attention. Time is a system of technicality made for man to program himself for failure or for success based on the value he has set to pursue in life. Based on the value you have set to pursue in life. There's something of value that is around your mind as you are doing that which you are doing now. And it is that sense of value that distinguishes you from an animal. Because it is only man that is given a sense of value that we now term goal, end results, outcomes, outputs, and results. It is man that have that consciousness. But if you ever lose that consciousness of reason, objective, end goal, output, results that you want to get, but then you are not different from an animal. And this is the reason why many, they waste time. Because they don't have candid, conscious reason for doing it. That's why many people, they'll just follow people and just walk away. Without reason. Without cogent reason for doing that. Maybe I've started entering into reason why some people don't maximize their year. So that's the first definition about value. I don't want to dig deeper, much more into that. Because we are not actually teaching about time as a subject, I would have talked more about each of these issues. Is it the issue of technicality in the spirit and things like that? We don't have time for that. Now, number 2 definition for time is this. Time is a value framework made by God for man. Is a value framework made by God for man to facilitate finding destiny, discovering and the fulfillment of purpose on earth. Is a value framework made by God for man to facilitate his finding destiny, discovering and fulfilling purpose on earth. So time is made for man to fulfill purpose. Time is made for man to discover the reason why he is here. So if it is the focus of your life, oh, I call you blessed. If the reason why you are engaging what you are doing now is to find purpose, then you are blessed. Because you are keen into the reason why you are made. Because you are keen into the reason why God made time. You see, that itself is a monumental success that you are in. If the reason why you are doing what you are doing consciously and conscientiously is that what I want to use time to do this year is to find destiny. And so I'm looking up to God. And so I am doing my bit here in order to see whether this is the charted path for my becoming great on earth. Or you are sitting and studying with the hope that you want to enter into purpose. Then you are doing something monumental toward your making this year fruit, because you are keen into the reason why time is made. Now, this is very, very important. I will leave the definition parts and then we will quickly talk about the matter. You see, I just mentioned now that time is a value framework made by God for facilitating our finding destiny, for discovering and fulfilling purpose on earth. Now, you see, God made this because of a reason. And the reason is that time is made by God to allow for our transformation. God wants us to become. God wants us to evolve. God wants us to become. He wants us to evolve into that which will be able to maximize the reason for his existence. That's why growth is very crucial. The reason for one of the main reasons for time is for growth. And growth is very, very, very important. And the challenge, we have always mentioned the fact that everything is susceptible to abuse. In the same way, time can be abused. When we fail to grow, to become after the order that God has set. God is giving us time to become. Why? Because God is interested in our being. Once we become our being, than our doing and having. I want you to take note of that. Very, very important. We men on earth, we are trained to have, especially modern education, train us to have and do. But you see, true education should make us become. Because that is what aligns with the mind of God. And if true education is interested in our becoming, it will also be conscious to prepare us to become good. But nowadays, it seems our system of education is seeking to make us do and have. And that's why as people are exposed, everyone is pursuing money. Everyone is pursuing mammon. Everyone is pursuing what he can grasp. Everyone is pursuing what he can gain. Everyone is pursuing what he can get. But God is interested in our becoming, in our being. Because it is becoming, what we become, that determines what our being will be. We started a series that we left. I think we just did about 2-3 parts, and we are yet to continue on that. The difference between, we were asking, are you a being or you are a thing? Can go and listen to some of those ones that are available for now. You see, doing and having is the usual temptation of people. And that's why we are in a haste. We want to do. We want to do. And that's why we compare ourselves with colleagues, with people around us. We compare ourselves. We try to run ourselves out to have and to do. Want to do like our people are doing, like others are doing, like my friend, even children. I want to do like my friend do. I want to get what my friend has. But God is interested in that. That's one of the reasons why He gave time. He gave time for our being, our becoming. He's interested in what we are transformed into. And so that's why the principle He gave about life is about our being, because He knows that if we follow those principles, we will become. And when we become, truly become, is intended being. When we become that, you see, doing will be easy and having things will be with ease as well. In fact, our doing will easily attract things that we should have. But when we don't want to follow his principles, you see, we will still become, but our becoming will not be after the pattern. That's because what he has set time for is becoming, and that's his rule. But it will be determined by the principle we follow. The turnout of our becoming will now be determined by the principles we follow. Whether we turn out to be good or we turn out to be evil. But God is interested in our becoming. And that's why it is that becoming that now determines what his judgment will be at the end. What you have become. So time is given to man to become. And that is why when you have grown to a level, you will, as a man, you came as a man. But when you have grown to a level, you know, we mentioned growth. We mentioned transformation. We talk about becoming. It is what you now become that becomes the adjective that is added to you, by which men now call, is a good man. You now have the adjective added by what you have become. Good man, wicked man, great man, successful man, healthy man. You see, what you have become is what is attracting the adjective to you. So if you have used time against the principle that God set, then whatever you have now done, we now have made you into something that attracts the adjective by which you will now be known. That be attracting good to you, favor to you, help to you, mercy to you, or it will be repelling these things. So time is made by God for our transformation. God is interested in our becoming, what we are becoming. And that's why I set the principles to make us turn out to be good. I don't have time to further expatiate about this, because I want this particular engagement to be one and series, and then everybody can lay grasp of it, engage it, and run with it. That's the essence. Now, further, I want to look at three or four types of time engagers. Time engagers. I hope we will take note of this. Very important. And you can now classify yourself around these three or four types of time engagers. Number one, we have mindless time engagers. Mindless time engagers. Mindless time engagers. Number one, timeless time engager. There are people who don't mind, they are not conscious about time. Whether by reason under their control or by reason out of their control, they are just mindless time engagers. For example, somebody who is in coma is a mindless time engager because he doesn't know what he's doing at that time. When he eventually wakes up, he won't know how long he has spent in coma. So it's a mindless time engager. And that is out of his control. That's out of his control. Somebody who is in a coma is a mindless time engager. That's out of his control. But we now have the second kind of mindless time engager, who are just wasters of time. They don't know time as a resource. So they while away time. They while away time. You can just sit around anything. They don't know how to apportion time to things. They don't know how to derive value from things and do the next thing. If you are a youth and you just walk around, go about, no minding, and you cannot pinpoint what you do with time, you are a mindless time engager. And I'm putting it to you that you need to adjust yourself this year. That's what the first character. They are waster of time as resources. They don't have a goal and ambitions. They thrive in irrelevancies. They can sit down and talk and just gist about anything. Mindless time engagers. They waste opportunities. They don't use the time they have. They are the one who will sit around great people and their lives will not amount to anything because they don't see the opportunity of being around that kind of person at that time in order to tap what is needed to be tapped, in order to add to their knowledge and grow themselves to become. They are the ones who blame others. That's another characteristic. They blame others. They blame God for their woes. Instead of seeing that I am in a mess, I am in a problem now, identify that he is in a problem, be conscious of it, and then look for healthy solutions. Healthy solutions. Healthy solutions. Mindless time engagers. They are the blamer of others without blaming themselves. They are the one who live for now. No sense of doing things in anticipation of future. They are also the kind of people who waste time in things that serve others. They can be doing things that serve others, but they are not mindful to think, how is this contributing to my purpose ultimately? I remember the story of Jacob. Jacob was serving his father-in-law. Legitimate thing he was doing. He was doing it conscientiously. He was doing it dedicatedly. He was doing it with all of his mind, with all of his wisdom, with all of his capacity. And he was bringing profit to the man. Jacob was a very time-conscious personality. But at a point, he asked a question. When will I prepare for my household? He faced himself with the fact and said, when will I prepare for my own household? And that jolted him to an action. He looked up to God. He said, no. Now, if I'm going to prepare for my household, I must not leave this place empty. God help me. And he began to seek the face of God until he got a solution. He got an idea that changed his fortune. But mindless time engagers, they waste time. They can even be doing activities in church, but they don't know how they don't know, and they are not asking questions. How is this that I'm doing contributing ultimately to my purpose? You must not be that kind of person this year. Such persons are hopeless religious bigots. They can fight about religion, but they don't know how it's contributing to their eternal relevance and their ultimate purpose on earth. And so they can just mobilize them for anything about religion. Ask them to go and kill, and they don't ask questions. How is this going to add up to my fulfilling purpose ultimately? How is this adding to my point before heaven? How is this adding to the reason that I am on earth? Mindless time engagers. Let's leave that. Number 2, mindful time engagers. Mindful time engagers. This one, they are mindful of time. They see it as a resource. Maybe they don't call it value as we call it, but they see it as resource. A resource, I meant to say. They see it as resource, and they are engaging it in that way. Well, we now have other things that they do. They take and use opportunities. They take and use opportunities. They try to study for opportunity. They try to... I remember while I was in school, I was deliberate. I was deliberate about the way I was engaging time. I remember I was president of our fellowship. And the course I was taking, they're very tough. We have one of them that is very tough. Very tough. I remember going to my last year, one of the semesters. I've just been appointed into the leadership of the fellowship. So we had run activities, done many things. I was very active in school. I was into many activities, very many. I was the class rep of a group of students in my class. I was into other positions. So I had a lot to engage with. And I was just doing those things, and I was begging God. I have my project to write. I have many things to do. Anytime. Suddenly, there was a crisis in school, and so they shut the school down. Oh. This is an opportunity. I just told my parents, I'm not coming. Even though this window, I want to use it to do my studies. So I did the laboratory studies. At the time we resumed, it was time for exam. I was mindful of the time that I had. I was mindful. At another time within that space, something happened again. I needed time to write my project. I'd been busy as well, busy. Oh, and my project supervisor, I was made to be under the HOD. The head of department was my direct supervisor. So she also was very busy with leadership and other activities, and so very many things she was doing then. And so she couldn't even attend to my project. But because I've studied much, I knew about my project, I knew the topic I was writing. So I didn't mind that she was not attending to my project. I kept writing. Whether I was persuaded, I kept writing. I didn't allow any time to sleep because I was mindful of time. I saw time as resource. So any slightest opportunity to do anything around the project, I would do. I kept doing. And people were afraid. Everybody was afraid for me because I was almost like the only one who had not seen the supervisor. She was busy, I was also busy. She was busy, I was also busy. And everybody will be talking left and right. We have seen our supervisor, he has told us to go and do this. We are on this page. I kept doing my work. Just mindful of time and seeing opportunities. I kept writing. And the topic that I had, I didn't have resources. I've not even is a fresh project topic, and I was just exploring it. But because I just somehow knew what to do, the only time she had opportunity to read through the project, she just put touches on the thing and asked me to go on. Within the slightest, we had just 1 week to defend the project. And everything was ready within the space of time. That happened because I was mindful of time. I was taking and using opportunity. Even though I didn't have all the time, but I took time seriously. And I was taking the opportunity as at when due. So those who are mindful time engagers, time managers, they see time as resources. Another thing about mindful time managers is that they love knowledge. They love knowledge. They love knowledge. They will invest. They are consciously pursuing knowledge. And they know that every opportunity to see it is just another time to add something to themselves. I'm recommending that you become this. That's my life. That's the way I live. Even in crisis, I just thought, what am I to learn here? What am I to learn again here? It's another learning curve. So be that this year. Number 3, for the sake of our time, we are full-time abusers. Full-time abusers. Remember, we are talking about types of time engagers. Full-time abusers. They are absolutely abusive of time. What is their characteristics? One of the characteristics of a full-time abuser is that he's full of ambitions, but he is selfish. Yes, he is selfish. He wants to gain time for himself to attain his own goal and objective, but he's not mindful of what's become of others. He wants to gain time. They are part of the people who work to invert the order of God. They selfishly honor time. Full of ambitions, but selfish. They want to make gains at the expense of others. They want to reap out of men and reap through them. They want to reap out of men, R-E-A-P, and they want to reap through them, R-I-P. Want to reap through them. Full of ambitions. He knows he has set his objectives, he has set his mind at attaining this kind of thing within this space of time, but they are selfish. It is their own selfish interest they are after. They don't mind what becomes of others. They can manipulate other people's time in order to gain for themselves. Another characteristics of a full-time abuser is that they are full of strategies to attain their objectives, but they are manipulative. They are manipulative. Very manipulative. They just want to manipulate, and that is to the detriment of others. And in fact, they don't mind if they die. They don't mind. They are so reckless within their being that they don't care what becomes of others. They want to manipulate anybody to just attain anything by, in fact, their strategy is planned deliberately around that to ensure that they just gain and attain, and whatever becomes of other is irrespective. Full of strategies to attain their objective, but they are deadly manipulative personalities. Deadly manipulative personalities. Another point about them is that they enjoy using other people's time without love for their well-being. Just like the previous point. But we need to make it clear. They enjoy using other people's time without love for their well-being. They have staff, they won't pay them. They have people around them working for them, but they pay them what they are. What is not worth it? They just want to make other people's time, work for them recklessly. Men can be employed, but there is need for sense of responsibility. There is need for justice. And it's one of the issues we have in our nation. Social justice is gone. Empathy is gone. Reckless and mindless of what becomes of others. You have a larger number of full-time abusers all around. So you must work. The reason why we are listing these things out is for you to have a sense of responsibility around how your time is going to be engaged this year, so that you will know who you are working with this year. You will know who you have within your network, within your company this year, so that you will know where to put each person. The person you should put at arm's length, person you should discard and walk away from. If it's not ready to understand with you, adjust according to your own timeline and work with you in mutual interests. Beware this year. Then we now have out of time personalities. That one is not applied to us here. Out of time, people who have died, people who are no more here. Those are the fourth type of time engagers. They are out of time. Out of time engagers. Out of time personalities. So now this leads us to the 10 points. 10 points on how to make your time worth the while this year. How to make your time worth the while this year. Very important for you to take note of this. Number one, be intentional and sincere with yourself. Be intentional. Live moment by moment. Live day by day. Live hour by hour. Pastor E. Adeboye at one point says, he said, foolish people, they live per day. Successful people, they live by hour. But great people, they live by seconds. They are conscious. What is it? It's consciousness of time. So, number one, be intentional and sincere. Being intentional is the one, this part where you are just mindful of what you are doing. But being sincere is that you scold yourself. No, I didn't spend this last hour productively. I didn't spend today productively. I wasted larger part of my day. Challenge yourself that way. It shows you are mindful. So these things to do to make this year count. That's number one. Be intentional and sincere to yourself. Number two, be accountable to yourself and to godly leaders. Very, very important. Be accountable to yourself and godly leaders. I have a senior friend, who is always asking me, he can look at me in the face and tell you just wasted time. He ask me a question. That thing that we discussed together, how did you do it? Or you don't have time to waste. He's always hasty on time. So I will give account, I will report myself to him, we will talk. As of today, he has told me that he is giving me a fine for the way I did some things, and that the time was not judiciously used. Be accountable to yourself and to godly leaders. I have leaders that can question me and ask me, what are you doing now? Where are you now? You see, if you make yourself so responsible like that, you will live a productive life. Number 3, treat time as a valuable resource. See it as a resource. As a matter of fact, it's the only resource given to man to become. We have said that earlier. It's the only thing that is free for any man to change whatever sin around you. Treat time as a great valuable resource and the best of valuable resource. Please be mindful of this point. Very important. If you are mindful of it, you'll be able to leave anybody who is not valuing your time. You'll be able to leave him and walk away. You'll be able to live, you'll be able to prioritize opportunities and think through the one that will be favorable and unfavorable. You'll be able to leave places, employments, engagements that are wasting your time while giving you peanuts. Whereas more things that are precious to you, family, great relationship with God, relationship with parents, relationship with your immediate family, especially if you are married. They are taking you away from that, from those. You should reconsider your stance. You should reconsider your stance. Treat time as valuable resource. Number 4, be purposeful to use time to invest in knowledge. Deliberately propose this year, I want to gain knowledge. Deliberately, I want to gain healthy knowledge. Now, this is very important. Pursue the right kind of knowledge. That's the caveat. Pursue the right kind of, because there are two broad spectrum of knowledge, two broad spectrum. Largely, every form of knowledge that you have on earth is categorized into two. Knowledge of good and evil, as the one that corrupts, that destroys, that compromises you. I don't have time to define it much more. I'm just talking about what the end points, what its resultant effects are. It destroys, it corrupts, it deadens, it kills. Knowledge of good and evil. Those are knowledge that is not good for you. Kind of knowledge that's not good for you, or you need them but you don't need them now. So if you get them now, for example, a teenager who is watching pornography, you will see nakedness. Let me say it in plain language. You see nakedness of a woman or a man, but you don't need that knowledge now. That's knowledge of good and evil. You don't need it now. Then there is what we call knowledge of the truth. Pursue the knowledge of the truth about life, about destiny, about future, about how God will bless you, how to be great, truly great. Read biography of great men this year. Read books, read about your discipline. Be dedicated to reading. Give attention to reading. Whether taking time, dedicating time to listen to audio books or to read hard copy books or PDFs, read, learn a trade, learn a skill. Add to yourself this year knowledge. Deliberately be purposeful to use time. Whatever is the time open for you to invest time in knowledge. It is very, very important. Number 5, be conscious and mindful of the season you are in. Check around you and look at the season you are in. Look at the season you are in. If you are just newly married, it's a new season you are in. Be conscious and mindful of it. If you are pregnant, be conscious of that season. Don't work yourself up. Enjoy the season now and go through it. If you are in a season of unemployment or some other inconveniences, be patient with it and calm down to see what is the reason for it and how to maximize the opportunity available in it. Because that season of unemployment might be a season for you to withdraw and study a new frontier and then launch out in power. Launch out in a fresh dimension. Be conscious and mindful of the season you are in and deal accordingly. Very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Number 6, be empathetic to others. This year, give attention to others. Give attention to others. This is the next point. Give attention to others. Be mindful of others. Don't let spending time be all about you this year. Contribute to others. Seek others' welfare. Seek others' well-being. Seek to help others achieve goals. If you help others achieve goals, you will definitely get the reward. Invest deliberately in others this year. This year, deliberately in others. Number 7, pay attention to your health. This year, you want to make this year productive for you. Pay attention to your health. I know a decision I've made about my health this year. Deliberately. Deliberately pay attention to your health. I do this. I'm very mindful of my health. Deliberately, I did a lot of study about how to be healthy. Deliberately, I'm a very conscious person. Conscious. I've trained myself reasonably to be conscious. So pay attention to your health. Eat properly. Drink good water. Drink more water. Let me just give you that health tip for free. Eat properly. Don't eat junks. Eat properly. Drink water. Drink more water. Drink more water. Drink more water. Rest well. Drink more water. Oh, I can't say that less. Drink more water. I don't have time to talk about personal things that I've found out about drinking water. In fact, there's one of my colleagues in the office that I will always say, my first recommendation for anybody under the weather is, first of all, go and drink enough water. Eat properly, drink enough water, rest well, do checkup, master your body clock, treat yourself nicely sometime. Treat yourself nicely. Very important. Number 8, fear God. Fear God. In Proverbs, one of the truths about the fear of God is that it elongates time. Fear God. I will say this unequivocally, is the certain truth. I don't have time to really, I've said that. I'm not treating time as a subject. It may be controversial, but it's the truth. Time is not to make money. Time wasn't made to make money. Time wasn't made to make money. Time was first made to seek and serve God. This is the truth. Time was first made to seek and serve God. It may be controversial, but it's the truth. That's why when wisdom was talking in Proverbs 8, he said, those who seek me early, they will find me. And those who find me, they will find life. So, see, that's the understanding that David had that made him, I think Psalm 30 verse 15, that made him to say, my times are in your hand. And you see that because David committed his time to God's hand, God made him to leave the earth with many legacies. And that's why I'm still mentioning him now. Legacies, because he committed his time to the hand of God. And you see David saying something like, one thing have I desired, this will I seek, to be in your temple, to seek your face continually. Is it about it? No, it's not about religion. is about first the posture of your heart. Let your heart first be towards God. Towards God. Towards God. Your heart, let it be towards God. Ready to pursue God and the things of God, the nature of God, the presence of God, the power of God, the glory of God. These are the things of God. If you pursue these things of God, time will favor you. That's the truth. Let's leave that for now. Number 9. I want to make this year productive and very, very profitable for you. Honor men. Honor men. Honor men. Hey. Want to live a life of value? Honor men this year. Commit to honor men with your word, with your actions, with your intentions, with your motives. Honor men. We have not entered studying man. You know, I said it that at the beginning that if there's definition for God, then there is hardly nothing that is not having definition. It's in the scripture that they kept asking questions about what is man. I'm tempted to enter this, but I will leave it. What is man? Because man is more than what is standing erect, walking on 2 legs, having 2 hands, and can see with 2 eyes, and hear with 2 knobs around the head. Man is more than that. Man is a whole system. Man is a bundle of possibilities. Do you know, have you sat down consciously to study your computer system and try to compare between man and system? A computer system. Man is so much a great, huge system that Albert Einstein says that no man on earth has ever been able to use the best of the genius on earth has ever been able to use 10% of the capacity of his memory, of his brain. That's it. Man is such a great system like that. So man is a bundle of possibilities. That's what I'm driving at. It's a bundle of possibility that can change things around you. So honor all men. Honor all men. I remember I was discussing this with my people in my household, and I told them, I said in 1 Peter, I think chapter 2, verse 18, 17 or 18 or so. Peter, he knew the importance of honor. Maybe the way he honored Jesus with his sheep, with his boat, maybe that was what changed his orientation, and what actually happened afterward and turned his life around, and he became a great man that God, men can reckon with. Maybe that's why I gave the advice. He said, honor all men. fear God, and honor kings. 2 times in that particular verse, he mentioned the word honor. Honor men, fear God, then honor the king. Honor those who have authority over you, but much more honor all men, because you don't even know. You don't know who will deliver you. You don't know who will change your level. You don't know who will make you climb the next level you are looking for. Honor men. There's a story that always comes to my mind in the scriptures. 2 stories, particularly. 2 stories. The first story is the story of Naaman. As a great soldier, a general that he was able to honor 2 people in his life that began his journey to recovery from his leprosy. He honored his wife by listening to her advice. And he also honored the slave. That he was the one that caught the slave. He could have jettisoned the advice and abused it. I believe he was not abusing that girl. That's why that girl loved him. So I've even given that advice. He was not abusing her. If there was a kind of abuse, the girl will not be able to offer that free advice. She will not be able to even step near the wife of that general. Talk less of giving advice. How many of us are good to this level? How many of us? In these days of abusive tendencies, in these days where even the system that we run is teaching us brazenly to abuse people. Just get your advantage, use people, get from them, and walk away. Honor all men. Fear God, then honor the king. Then number 2 is Paul. Paul was in a prison, and they were planning to kill him. In fact, those guys, they bounded themselves. They said they will not eat. 40 men, they said they won't eat until they kill Paul. But they didn't know that a small boy was there. Maybe they forgot that the guy will have his sense to comprehend what they were saying, their plan, their plot. But somehow that guy had. And that guy went to Paul. Paul was so very humble. God had worked on him. He was humble and patient enough to give attention to that boy. Imagine if he had probably his emotion took much of him and he just discarded the ball. Or he took the boy, he held him out, but then what does he know? But he was humble enough to take that boy, hear him out, and ask the next one of the people who were managing the prison, take this boy, take him to the general. He has something to tell him. And the guy went. And that was what saved the life of Paul. Honor all men. Honor your relationships. Honor your colleagues in the office. Honor people around you. Honor your children. Honor your wife, your parents. Honor them. Number 10, invest in spiritual matters. Invest in spiritual matters. This year, want to be fruitful, want to enjoy this year, want to make this year to be profitable to you. Invest in spiritual matters. Convert your time into investment by finding time for retreat, not to attend programs, not for church programs, but for retreats. Invest in spiritual matters. Because time is a spiritual thing. To truly manage time and gain advantage of time is by investing in spiritual resources. Using that time it's like using money to make money. So using a spiritual resource to gain out of that resource. So create time for retreat. Find your bearing at all times by taking time to wait, meditate, and then rest. Invest in spiritual resource, in spiritual matters this year, and you will not regret it. Now, finally, take this pattern statement home. You see, this last statement is very germane for you to take note of. You see, what God has in heaven and programmed into earth are principles. What man has on earth is time to work out the principles. So, engaging time and principles. These two are what defines your value at the end of the day. So what God has in heaven and programmed into the earth are principles. What man has on earth is time to work out the principles. So engaging these two is what defines your value at the end of the day. I pray God will bless you and make your time count this year. God bless you. Thank you.